There's something sitting in your medicine cabinet right now that can make your flowers bigger and stronger, and even change their color. It costs almost nothing. And scientists, they can't really fully explain why it works. I help homeowners, serious gardeners, and businesses fix plant, lawn, and landscaping problems using professional horticulture and contractor-tested methods without wasting money on gimmicks. And believe me, today's information is not a gimmick. I've used it firsthand on roses. You won't want to miss it. Hit like, subscribe, and let's fix your garden right now. I was on a landscape consultation yesterday, and a lot of people don't know that I do that kind of stuff, but I do. I go out, I fix people's problems in their plants and their lawns and their trees and their shrubs, and I show them better methods on how to make everything work and look better, and especially remove any kind of safety issues and such. So I was over at a landscape consultation yesterday, which was pretty phenomenal because it's actually at a presidential library, which I do this from, and we had people that were there and they were asking different questions, and it kind of was pretty neat to hear and what they were thinking. And I threw some stuff out to them that they were just like, oh my, I didn't know that could happen. Let me give you an example here. We were talking about using Epsom salts. Now, Epsom salts is magnesium sulfate. And there's a fascinating thing about Epsom salts, and that is nobody knows why it works. You would think that with all the modern technology that we have today, they would be able to say, hey, you want to know something? Epsom salts does this for this reason. Well, we know what it can do, but we don't necessarily know why it can happen that way or why it does. Always just fascinated me about that. And that is, if you want flowers to get to be bigger and stronger, you throw a little Epsom salts on there. Don't get them mixed up with the other kind of salts. Because when I was talking, it was pretty interesting because one of the people said, oh, you mean you just take like table salt? No, you don't do that. We're talking Epsom salts, the stuff that you soak your feet with. Yeah, that stuff. Or maybe you got yourself a tub and you put some Epsom salts in a tub and you soak them, then you go, okay? Epsom salts is magnesium sulfate. And you want to be careful that you don't OD your plants with it because you can. So my rule of thumb is that you take no more than 1/4 of a cup. And it could be less than that. Basically, it's a small handful. And then you take and you throw it on at the base of the plant. Now, what's really nice about Epsom salts is that it happens to and can break down very quickly. As soon as water hits it, you know what happens to Epsom salts? It turns into a liquid really quick. So it's not like a homogeneous fertilizer that you put down that is designed to break down slowly over time. It breaks down right then and right now. You need to soak it in, you need to water it in, and then just take care of your plants normally. But the question that came up was, when do we do this kind of maintenance? Because that's actually what it is. Well, we do it on the first day of spring, the first day of summer, and the first day of fall. Winter, we don't do it because most plants, they're not blooming, they're not blossoming, they're either deciduous or they're resting, so we don't wake up the plants with doing that. So leave that aspect out of it, okay? But that is a really good earmark. Now, if we did pass spring, if we did pass summer, and we did pass fall, just pick a date. And then just space it out, 1/3, because that's 1/3 of, it's 3 times. And then come back and do that. Come back and fertilize it. Take and throw that handful on there. Now, if you're going to be doing things like, maybe planting with flowers or even vegetables, you could take and you could put just a little bit. Now, how much do you put? I wouldn't put more than a teaspoon. In fact, I'd put a little bit less than that. And I hate to say the word table salt, and I was kind of trepidatious in saying it in the first place, at the first time. But if you were to take and put just a little bit of salt, if you were to sprinkle it like you would sprinkle salt, table salt, that's how you would want to sprinkle the Epsom salts around your plants. Don't go salting the areas that are where the roots aren't at. Just around the plant, where the roots are at. Now, can you do this to large trees, large shrubs, yeah, you could. So if it's a bigger shrub, then yeah, go ahead and do that. Use more, maybe use a cup. But you have to remember that it is possible to put too much on the plant and it's not going to do what you want it to do. But if you do want bigger flowers, and sometimes, I've seen this with roses, I've seen it firsthand, if you use Epsom salt, sometimes it changes the color of the flower, which could be fun or not, depending on how you look at it.